Okay, so we're joined here today by Ben Clayton, one of the top coaches in the UK, currently the head coach for Surrey County with the U14 age group. Also works on short game with the Hampshire Golf Union's first team, and also has had tons of playing experience. Won over 25 tournaments as a professional, and even currently, still working with a lot of top players. So, Ben, thanks so much for taking the time to do this with us. And yeah, I'll let you take over, give us a little bit more of an intro about who you are, what you do, and we'd love to know more.
Yeah, so been a PJ member for a long time, 28 years, something like that. Um, my background was sort of trying to play in my early years, um, competitively. And then, like a lot of coaches, sort of failed players end up sort of turning to coaching. My short game was always pretty good as a player, so I ended up sort of helping my friends and then sort of fell into doing a lot of short game coaching with some sort of associations and sort of good players, and then that's turned into sort of coaching the whole game as a whole. Um, I do a lot of junior work, so working with the under 14 Surrey squads really good, but that's from sort of juniors all the way up to guys on tour.
That's I think it's great that you're still working with a wider range of players because I think that's like really what makes a complete coach, being able to adjust to whoever you've got in front of you. But even today, what is the thing that drives you in your coaching? What inspires you to try and kind of share what you know with all these different players?
The thing I like about coaching the most is obviously the successes. So when a player has sort of achieved their goal or done something that they think is really good, then that's the kind of thing that makes it all worthwhile, really. It's helping people, and obviously golf's difficult at times. It's not that easy a game, and it's pretty frustrating. So when people do things that they like to achieve, then it's really good.
Yeah, and I mean, touching on those maybe difficulties of the game that we all know are can be a little endless at times.
Yeah,
For you, what are kind of common challenges that you might have faced or that you still face, when you're working with your students?
I think that's very broad and depends on the player, but I've had players with the yips for chipping and putting. I've had players with yips with like off the tee, and um, some real difficulty around just like even taking the club back. Um, touch wood, I haven't had that myself, but it's when people sort of overcome those things and they're holding putts to win tournaments or make cuts or get into the next event, get into national squads, those sorts of things, then obviously people just see the ball go in or the chip in the putt. But obviously we know, or the team knows, that there's been a bit of a journey to get to that. And if people are sort of succeeding, then just sort of in the scenes, it's nice to know that you've been like a little 1% of that sort of success, which is great, really.
Yeah, and I mean that it does take a whole team, especially nowadays. I feel like with the way coaching has gone, there's
Yeah.
a lot of experts in each individual fields. When you're working with those top players, is there a big part that's being played with, even statistics nowadays? There's been a lot has changed in the last, 10, 15 years with the place that has in coaching, from your side of things, how does that fit within your whole model of how you work with your players?
I, I think at the top end, the um, even the manufacturers are very aware of um, like the players' stats. So the manufacturers are looking at, oh, this player's not great from 175 to 200. Do we need to change sort of a medium to long iron? Um, there's gaps in certain short game things. Would it be valuable adding another wedge, that sort of thing. Um, but I think the real benefit of the stats is if you're putting it in, then you've got that reflection process of I hit that shot there. Why did I do that? Did I feel like I was aiming too far right? Was I unsure about the club selection? Did I misjudge the wind? So often, obviously, you can just go, oh, I missed too many greens today. But if you're going through that process of putting the stats in, which is super quick, then you sort of get a better idea of yourself of why, and then you can obviously have those discussions as a coach to say, why did you miss the green there? That sort of thing. So when you're going to tournaments and watching players play, and then having those discussions afterwards, and then looking at the stats, it's you start to get a real understanding of why people score the way they do, rather than just sort of the black and white numbers. And it's something I encourage really sort of now, sort of 12, 13 years old up, because it's one, that reflection on the game, but obviously some elements within the Up Game app that sort of planning around, and yardage charts aren't as easy to come by. So not every course has got a yardage book. Obviously, if you're playing at an elite level, you have, but not every course has that sort of ability to sort of have that. And obviously, that's where the Up Game app is really good.
Yeah, and would you say that's probably the function of the app that is proven to be the most useful both for you and for your players, really the aspect of planning out and having a preset strategy?
Yeah, definitely. And there's obviously if you're playing, you've had a not always you can have a practice round, or you can't remember a certain line off a tee or something like that. So I played last week. I played the course a few times, knew the course pretty well, but still there was no yardage chart. Um, I used a rangefinder sort of into the flag and how far that is, but there was 4 or 5 tee shots where it's blind. You can sort of get the app up. This is where I'm stood over that tree. You can sort of get an understanding of your runouts, and then obviously when you can put your dispersion in based on sort of wind conditions, so you can stand there and go, right, it's into wind, it's pretty windy. You can tick that, then you get a real understanding of where your line is off that tee, and hopefully you sort of get that judgment right. And having that information is got to be a benefit, because you're taking that doubt of, can I carry that tree? Can I carry that bunker? Is that the right line? Those sorts of questions. And that's often where you'll see people sort of make bad swings or
Hmm.
make poor decisions, because they just don't have the information to hand. They've got doubt.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, that's such a crucial part in the game of not just executing the shot, but putting yourself in the right situation every time, like being able to
Yeah.
repeat the same process and have that kind of comfortable base of knowing, okay, I can play my shot every time because I've got access to the same information every time, right? That's such a crucial part of that. But from your side of things, with all the different players you've worked with, are they have there been any noticeable improvements in your students, since using Upgame, with maybe some of that course planning or maybe understanding their games a little better with the different metrics that you're able to see?
Yeah, lots, and especially with a lot of players in the States at college. Obviously, they're playing in different grasses. Obviously, I'm in the UK, so there's not a lot of, or no altitude. So if you're starting to play sort of globally, you're going to have um, some of these conversations. And obviously, it's September here at the moment, but a lot of the kids have gone to America, let's say a month ago. They're asking me questions already about grain. I've not chipped off grain before. I've not read grain. The ball's going miles because I'm at altitude. So when you have sort of certain information and those sorts of things, it's really good.
Yeah, and it's becoming that now, like kind of a more global game, even for at a younger and younger age now, with the opportunity for even players in different parts of the world to be able to, I guess nowadays, really specifically go to the United States and go play their college golf. with your coaching, do you think with all those different parameters you mentioned, is there any way that you can kind of prep them ahead of time before they go out and get exposed to these different courses, or is it more of a let's figure it out once you get there and identify what's going on?
I think you can to a point, and you can obviously draw on your experiences as a player to go. When I've played on grain, I've had success playing shots like this. Um, when I've played on grain, I've tended to sort of read putts like this and trying to sort of add in that layer of sort of reading a lie that's a bit different to what we would normally do, reading a putt, and then obviously playing at altitude, sort of working those calculations out and how you prepare. Um, but a lot of it is sort of trial and error. And
Yeah.
um, when you look back at your own career and go, maybe that was a bit naive, then failing is good, because it's an opportunity to learn and you'll grow from that. So I think we can be in a dangerous situation that obviously we don't want kids to fail and we want people to succeed and those sorts of things. But ultimately, to learn, you're going to have to make your own mistakes and sort of work out, can sort of lead players to sort of give them some advice. But at the same time, it's how they figure it out for themselves a little bit and what works and what doesn't work, and applying those things under pressure. You won't know until you really get to it, right?
Yeah. No, that's for sure. Yeah, the best way to figure it out is set up on the tee and see what happens on the day.
Yeah.
And no, I mean, so for that, kind of like as a final thought from you here, do you have any words, maybe a little bit of wisdom you'd like to share with any players who are maybe getting started with playing golf at a higher level and are trying to pursue this as far as they can? Would you have maybe any advice to give to them?
Yeah, I'll sort of give people a couple of things really. First, sort of don't jump ship. If you're a very good player, you've got to that point. I think the problem, especially um, in the UK, that players have sort of built a team generally now from quite a young age where you've got a PT and you've got maybe a mental coach and you've got your sort of coaching team that know who you are as a person, what your strengths and weaknesses are as a person, as a player, how you learn, and then you get a bit better. And a lot of people will obviously change how they work and change coaches and those sorts of things. And if it's not broken, don't fix it. So you can always add to it. With sort of adding a PT in, I'm very conscious that I don't know everything. So I'm very open to sort of asking for help, bringing a sports psychologist in if I haven't got the answers around that part of the game, bringing in a PT in, and sort of other service providers sort of around advising players on that specific area. And it's good for me because obviously helps my own game and my own coaching, so that's good. So don't sort of change too many things, and then reflect. So plan is sort of the first part. We plan to play well. We plan to win that tournament. You perform, and then that reflection process. Do your stats. Go through it. Why did you achieve what you did, and why did you not achieve what you wanted to achieve? And I think that's a really sort of important, not just for golf, just in life generally. Like, are you reflecting on the day, and are you reflecting on those good things and bad things that happen during the round of golf?
Yeah. Well put. Wouldn't have said it any better myself. No, Ben, thanks so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to do
My
this with
pleasure.
us. Best of luck for the rest of the year, both in your coaching and your playing, and we'll keep following what you're doing. And kind of as a last thing, if there's anyone that wants to find you or get in touch or maybe work with you, where can we find you?
So I'm at Burhill Golf Club in Surrey, England, and then on Instagram, I think I'm Ben Clayton Golf. So just yeah, send me a message.
Awesome. Ben, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.
Have a good one.